Mississippi River is drying up. Water levels in some areas near historic lows. It's already impacting supply chains and local tourism.
Most Americans think they know the Mississippi River. They learned about it in school. They've seen it winding across maps. They know it's long, important, and somehow connected to American history. But the truth is far stranger. The Mississippi isn't just a river. It's one of the most powerful natural systems on Earth. A living force that helped build a nation, shaped entire civilizations, and continues to challenge some of the greatest engineering projects ever attempted. Stretching more than 2,300 miles from northern Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico, the Mississippi drains nearly half of the continental United States. Every raindrop falling across farms, forests, plains, and mountains throughout much of America eventually finds its way into this giant waterway. Yet, despite its importance, most people have no idea how extraordinary it really is. Let's explore the incredible story of the river that built America, a giant that starts small. The most surprising thing about the Mississippi is how modest it looks at the beginning. Near its source at Lake Itasca in Minnesota, the river is so narrow that a person could almost jump across it. It's hard to imagine that this small stream will eventually become one of the largest river systems on the planet. As it travels south, hundreds of tributaries join the flow. Small creeks become rivers. Rivers become massive waterways. By the time the Mississippi reaches Louisiana, it has transformed into a moving inland sea. Every second, enormous volumes of water surge toward the Gulf of Mexico, carrying soil, nutrients, and sediment gathered from thousands of miles away. This isn't simply water moving downhill, it's an entire continent slowly draining itself. The river that built an economy. Long before highways, railroads, or airplanes connected America, the Mississippi was the nation's primary transportation network. Cities rose and fell based on their access to the river. Among them, none was more important than St. Louis. During the mid-1800s, steamboats crowded its waterfront day and night. Millions of passengers and countless tons of cargo passed through the city. For a time, St. Louis seemed destined to become the dominant city of the American interior. The river made that prosperity possible. Even today, the Mississippi remains one of the most important commercial waterways in the world. Massive barge fleets transport grain, coal, steel, and agricultural products at a scale few people ever notice. A single towboat pushing multiple barges can carry the equivalent of hundreds of truckloads of cargo. While highways receive attention and airports dominate headlines, the Mississippi quietly keeps American commerce moving. The purchase that changed history. Many people view the Louisiana Purchase as a simple land deal. In reality, it was a river deal. At the beginning of the 19th century, control of New Orleans meant control of the Mississippi, and control of the Mississippi meant control of America's economic future. Without access to the river, farmers throughout the interior would have no efficient way to get their products to global markets. When Napoleon offered the Louisiana Territory for sale, the United States gained far more than land. It secured the continent's most important transportation corridor. The river wasn't part of the purchase. The river was the reason for the purchase. Nature's constant rebellion. Here's something most maps don't reveal. The Mississippi doesn't actually flow where it does today. For thousands of years, the river has naturally shifted its course across the landscape. It constantly searches for shorter, steeper routes to the sea. Today, the Mississippi would prefer to abandon its current path and flow through Louisiana's Atchafalaya Basin. Geologically, that route makes more sense. For New Orleans, it would be disastrous. To prevent this, engineers built one of the most important hydraulic control systems in the world, the Old River Control Structure. Its job is simple in theory, but enormous in practice. Keep the Mississippi where humans want it. The challenge is that rivers don't care about human plans. The Mississippi is continuously pushing to take the easier route. Engineers are essentially negotiating with nature every day. So far, they've succeeded. But the river never stops pushing back. A river that once flowed backward. One of the most astonishing events in American geological history occurred in 1811 and 1812. These massive earthquakes struck the central United States near New Madrid, Missouri. These earthquakes were so powerful that they changed the landscape itself. Witnesses reported forests collapsing, riverbanks crumbling, and entire sections of land sinking into the earth. Most astonishing of all, parts of the Mississippi briefly appeared to reverse direction. Water surged upstream as seismic forces reshaped the river channel. Imagine standing beside one of the world's largest rivers and watching it suddenly flow the wrong way. It sounds impossible, yet it happened. The event serves as a reminder that even something as immense as the Mississippi remains vulnerable to forces deep within the Earth's crust. The ancient world beneath the river. The Mississippi's story stretches back far beyond human history. Beneath the modern river lies rock that formed more than 1 billion years ago. Those ancient rocks existed long before dinosaurs, long before trees, and long before complex animal life appeared on Earth. Along the river's bluffs, visitors can find fossils from ancient tropical seas that once covered the American Midwest. Shells, trilobites, and marine creatures became trapped in sediments hundreds of millions of years before the Mississippi itself existed. In a sense, the river is flowing through layers of deep time. Every bend reveals another chapter of Earth's history. America's greatest wildlife highway. The Mississippi isn't just important for people. It's one of the most important wildlife corridors in North America. Every year, hundreds of millions of birds use the Mississippi flyway during migration. Ducks, geese, eagles, and warblers, and countless other species rely on the Mississippi wetlands and forests as they travel between breeding and wintering grounds. Without the Mississippi corridor, many of these migrations would become far more difficult or impossible. The river functions like a biological highway stretching across an entire continent. And birds aren't the only creatures that depend on it. The Mississippi supports hundreds of fish species, making it one of North America's richest freshwater ecosystems. From northern headwaters to southern floodplains, each section provides habitat for different forms of life. It's not one ecosystem, it's dozens connected together. The cost of controlling nature. For more than a century, engineers have attempted to tame the Mississippi. Thousands of miles of levees now line its banks. Locks and dams regulate water levels. Flood control structures redirect flow. Navigation channels are constantly maintained. These systems provide enormous benefits. They protect communities. They support agriculture. They keep commerce moving. But every solution creates new challenges. Levees prevent floodwaters from spreading naturally across floodplains. As a result, more water remains trapped within the main channel, increasing pressure downstream. The river becomes faster, deeper, and sometimes more dangerous. In many ways, humanity has entered into an endless cycle of adaptation with the Mississippi. Each new project solves one problem while creating another. The river remembers. Perhaps the most fascinating fact about the Mississippi is that the river we see today is only a temporary version of itself. Over thousands of years, the river has occupied countless channels across a broad corridor stretching miles wide. Ancient riverbeds lie hidden beneath forests, farms, and towns. Places that seem permanent today may once have been underwater, and areas currently occupied by the river may someday become dry land. The Mississippi has never been fixed. It has always moved. Maps give the illusion of permanence, but rivers operate on a different timeline. What appears stable during a human lifetime is often temporary on a geological scale. The ultimate lesson. The Mississippi River teaches a humbling lesson. Humans often view nature as something that can be controlled. We build dams, levees, canals, and flood walls. We redraw channels and redirect water. We create systems that seem permanent. But the Mississippi reminds us that permanence is an illusion. The river existed long before modern civilization. It survived ice ages, earthquakes, floods, and climate shifts. It built landscapes, erased others, and continues to reshape the continent today. The structures we construct may last decades. Some may survive centuries. The river measures time differently. In the end, the Mississippi isn't simply a river. It's a living geological force, a transportation network, a wildlife corridor, a source of life, and the reminder that nature's timeline is far larger than our own. For thousands of years, people have tried to understand it. For thousands more, it will continue flowing south, changing, adapting, and reminding us that some forces are simply bigger than we are.